Ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar and welcome. It's me Mahalaxmi. You guys are watching the Mahalaxmi show. Today I have security consultant and author Mustafa Sharif. His father Benjamin Mack used to work with Dr. Martin Luther King. His father was state representative of South Carolina. Let's welcome Mustafa Sharif. Mustafa, welcome to the Mahalaxmi show.
Thank you.
How are you, Mustafa?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nowadays, what are you doing?
Just finishing up and posting my book, The Last Breakfast. It's about my father, who was a civil rights leader and worked with Martin Luther King.
You just published your book, The Last Breakfast, right? What is the reason behind naming your book as The Last Breakfast?
Well, my father has, as I said, he worked with Martin Luther King, and today, the morning before, the morning that he got sick and he passed away 3 days later, he fixed this big breakfast and put a big old white tablecloth on the dining room table. And we usually eat on the kitchenette table on Sunday mornings, but we ate at that table and he had all this different kind of breakfast food, and that was basically the last thing he did with us as a family.
That means The Last Breakfast is really emotional book. You have a memory of your
yes.
father.
Yes, it's kind of emotional, and it's kind of just pulling out things that I had in me about him. I was actually doing the book after I wrote some things about my father for the University of South Carolina, and they enjoyed it, so they asked me to write the book.
When did you realize you wanted to be a writer?
I don't know. I think it's people told me about writing because I was traveling a lot and doing different things as a consultant. Security, I was providing security for different corporations, and we worked contract security with Homeland Security. So I was always traveling, going to other cities. And my English teacher, who lived up the street from my mom, she used to tell me I should write. And I was talking to a poet, and he told me I should write, but I didn't really take it that serious. I took a little bit of journalism in college, and so what I started doing was writing articles at first and little blogs about security issues, and from there, that's when I started writing.
So, writing a book is your passion or profession?
It's kind of both. I came passion. I could say passion a little bit because it does kind of makes me calm a little bit, and it was just like I say, it's something that just started. And the book, that book, The Last Breakfast, like I said, it came because I wrote an article and some pages for the University of South Carolina. At the time, I was working on a book, and still is, called Keeping Out of Harm's Way. And that was kind of a passion because of what it was about, because most of the stuff I write about is about security issues. But this book here is more kind of personal than those books.
So this book is personal, you just told, right?
Yeah.
And what you have inside this book?
The book starts off with me being adopted by my parents, and it goes into me growing up with my father, mother, and my sister, and it goes into the neighborhood, and it went into things like I got to meet and eat breakfast and with Martin Luther King. He used to come to our house. We go to Charleston. He'd been down there, and the times that me, my mom, and sister went through when my father was like locked up in jail with Martin Luther King, and me just growing up with him and things that he taught me and stuff like that.
How old you were that time?
Well, from the child, because he was working with Dr. King before I was born. I think like '59, and so I kind of grew up with that, all the way up to the age of 9, and when he died. So I mean, I didn't understand a lot of the civil rights, the marches and stuff like that. I did participate in one march he did. It was like '70, right before he died, and I did go see Dr. King speak, but like I was real young. I knew he was doing what he was doing because when I got like 5 and 6, I always wanted to go with him, and you go. Sometimes he would let me go if it was inside the state or somewhere in the city, but he. Basically that's the way, growing up. I didn't know when, even as a little child, I used to meet and talk about Martin Luther King, but I didn't know he was going to be this big person like that.
Can you tell something about your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, just basically just a normal, kind of normal, but being that who my father was, it was a little bit different. But I was growing up in the '60s. We were still dealing with segregation. And my father sent me to a school. My poster went to a school that was directly behind our house, and they sent me to a school that they would integrate as a first grader. And so I got to experience some of the racism. I think when I was probably at first grade, it was the first time I heard the N-word. And it was a little girl in my class, a white girl, and I got some water out the water fountain, and she said I wasn't supposed to drink out the water fountain and called me the N-word. And I was like, wow. And I didn't know what it meant. And I went and told my mom after school, and she told me, don't worry about that's not who you are and everything. And, I experienced some of the racism, but in the other part of that, the neighborhood that we lived in, it was a strong neighborhood and family, and black people at that time had their own businesses, grocery store, Charles Hill's grocery store, the electricians and everybody that was basically there in that neighborhood and everything. So it was kind of fun growing up, but I did, when I basically got to school, that's when I kind of experienced more what they call racism or segregation a little bit. Not that much, because I didn't really understand it.
What was your goal when you were childhood? What was your goal when you were like small?
I don't know. I thought I really had goal but to go play. Wasn't that at the time. I guess like other kids, wanted to be a fireman, wanted to play football. My dad used to want to play baseball. Dad would play baseball and stuff like that with me. As I got older, I went on to play football. But that was just part of the goal. My father always told me I could be what I want to be and everything, and just work hard, you can be what you want to be. And, but like when I was a little child, basically I was just a little child, a little boy playing. And he was real strict on like studying and learning things, so before I got to first grade, he would have a teacher come by, my godfather's wife. She was a third grade teacher, and she would come bring me first grade work.
Okay,
then stuff like that.
You had different goals when you were a child, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but how and where did you get encouragement for book writing?
Basically, like I said, it was, I used to write letters, but I remember seeing a poet, and I was talking to him, and he said I should write. He said, because I said I express stuff, but I could, like my mother doing Mother's Day or stuff like that, I would buy nice cards. He said that was so good. So he said you should write, and other people said I should, write. I don't know why, I did, like I said, I did take classes in journalism, and how to write and all that, but that was the encouragement. I mean, I really didn't take it seriously, but when I got hurt, and I was out of work, that's when I started basically doing more writing.
Apart of this book,
Mhm.
another book also you wrote.
Yeah, well, the first book I wrote was about home. Like I said, I wrote security articles.
Mhm.
So this book here was basically about the introductory to how safe are our homes. And that book is a small book, but it's two books coming behind it. And it deals with home safety, things you should do, try to protect your house and everything. And I got two more coming with it. And I have a book coming out this year here. The book I was working on when I started The Last Breakfast, which is Keeping Out of Harm's Way.
So what is your future goal?
I don't know too much about writing. I'm basically, I'm doing my security consulting work and trying to get the business back up. And, things changed with my health, so I had to make adjustments. But basically, my consulting company just want to keep it going and, and reach people, not just locally, but, nationwide and international, and, be doing my security consultants work.
Do you think somebody could be a writer if they don't feel emotion strongly?
Well, I could say, but writing on the security articles and the books that I write for that, you have to be kind of dedicated because of the fact that you're doing a lot of research. What I'm writing as far as with my father on The Last Breakfast was more emotional and things that I experienced with him and everything. So I think you have to have some kind of dedication to it because you'll quit. I just stopped many times, I have to come back to it because you get blocked like a writer's block.
How many hours a day do you write?
I don't know. It's because I started writing kind of busy during the day, so I write a lot at night when it's quiet or early in the morning. So basically, I just get up and I'm gonna sit here and do it and just write. Sundays I usually do a lot of writing. I might not write through the week.
How easy to be a writer and how easy to publish the book?
Well, the first book, it was just like I completed it. And I didn't really worry about if I had misspelled words and all that. It was just when I published it on Amazon. Amazon said it was the #1 new release in that category at that time for about 5 days. So it was kind of exciting, to look at this, look at my book on Amazon and to download it into my Kindle and stuff like that and tell people about it. So it was really kind of exciting, I knew it wasn't my best work, but sometimes you have to just go ahead and do stuff and try to, see where it go from there.
How do you evaluate your life yourself?
You say, how do I?
Yeah, how do you evaluate your life yourself?
Well, I evaluate, just basically like what I'm doing and am I completing what I'm supposed to be doing. I try to write goals down and stuff I need to do.
Are you satisfied with your work?
Pretty much, because it's like a learning experience. Like I said, it's not like I'm, competing with nobody. But I try to do, the best, as I can. And sometimes that kind of holds you up because I go back and read over stuff and then I write it over again and everything. And then then I come back to it 2-3 days later and I'm like, I need to do this. So, that don't sound right or this don't sound right. So that's basically, kind of hard on myself like that. And that kind of holds me back a little bit because, I need to complete the work.
Do you have any expectation from your audience and book publisher?
No, like I said, I'm working with Amazon. I had other companies that was calling me to be the publisher, but the percentage of the money and the percentage of what they really wanted, it kind of took me out of the control, even though they was doing basically a lot of the marketing and the stuff that they were doing. But working with Amazon is a little bit different. You're able to do your stuff, and you know, you keep a certain percentage and your rights, and that's what I basically want to keep, you know, is my rights of the book. I want people to buy the book, especially The Last Breath, because it's about my father. And he wasn't like a famous person like Martin Luther King or Ralph Abernathy. He more was in the background. But back in the state and the city that we lived, everybody knew him and knew what he did and everything. So, you know, I want people to, you know, it was other people that was in that civil rights movement, you know, that sacrificed. You know, he went to jail. He got beat, you know, with the billy clubs and the water hose and the dogs and everything. I think somebody ran into the back of the car. You know, he come home sometime, he couldn't even get out the car. The neighbors used to have to help him out and get him in the house and everything. So, you know, I just want him to know that, you know, his sacrifice, you know, and that back in October, like I said, the state of South Carolina honored him by making the house a historical house that he and my mother built together. And, you know, that's been a long time. I think when he first passed away, they were talking about the name of the street after him and everything. So I just want, you know, people to get the book and read it, and younger people, because a lot of younger people don't know about that struggle and everything that we went through back in, you know, those days and everything, and how, you know, it wasn't, you know, how it is now, where you just walk in the store and, you know, buy something. You couldn't, you know, go in a restaurant, you have to go around to the back before you could get your food and stuff like that. Couldn't drink out water fountains like the little girl told me I wasn't supposed to be and everything. So basically that's it.
Do you want to give any message for our audience?
Just get my book.
So where they can buy your book?
My book will be on Amazon. The Last Breath was by
You can sit there and you can tell our audience where they can buy your book.
Yes, you can order the book on Amazon. You can go to my website, MustafaSharif.com. You can download it with Kindle, and you can download it for Kindle for free if you have unlimited and everything. So there's ways that you can get it, and you can read it. I think you can have it for 10 days or something like that for free also if you download it with Kindle. So it gives you a chance to look at it and, you know, read through it.
MustafaSharif.com. They can go right, and they can download book, or they can go Amazon, and they can buy book.
Yeah, and buy book, yeah.
Yes. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you for watching the Mahalaxmi show. Thank you very much watching the Mahalaxmi show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll come next week with another guest. Bye bye. Stay happy and healthy. Namaste.